Can you actually build wealth working a normal 9 to 5? 7 years ago, I started with nothing. No business, no real estate, and no side hustle. Just a job, consistent investing, and time. I'm about to hit $100,000 in my 401k. My 9 to 5 isn't holding me back. It's the engine. Here's exactly how it worked and how it's helped our family build wealth along the way. When I was younger, I had a completely different view on money. I thought the only way to become wealthy was through starting a business, being an entrepreneur, or having a massive income. And to be fair, if your goal is to get your net worth above 10 million, starting or buying a successful business is probably one of the best ways to do that. This video probably isn't for you, but for someone who's trying to retire comfortably, build wealth over time, and create financial freedom for their family, that's not the only path. At 21 years old, I thought jobs were just for paying bills. You got paid, you paid your bills, and whatever was left over, you got to spend. Retirement was something I'd worry about later. And I believed a lot of the narratives that you hear online. Wealthy people all inherited their money. They had some huge advantage. You need a massive income to get ahead. And while those things are true for some people, they're not true for most people. The more I learned, the more I realized wealthy people weren't just lucky. Luck definitely played a part in some of it, but it's not all luck. They were disciplined, they were consistent, and they stuck with a plan for a long time. So what changed for me? I got introduced to personal finance. And because I'm naturally detail oriented and I'm a rule follower, it naturally just clicked. And for the first time, I learned there was an actual framework I could follow to build wealth. You didn't have to guess, you didn't have to be a genius, just have to have a plan. One of the biggest things I realized was building wealth wasn't about just finding more money. It was about directing the money I was already earning. Before that moment, every dollar was making its own decision. After that, every single dollar had a purpose. And that was huge for me because at the time I wasn't making a ton of money. I wasn't a business owner, wasn't a real estate investor. I was just a normal guy with a 9 to 5. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, that's great, but I don't make six figures. Well, neither did I when I first started. I stopped seeing my job as just something that paid the bills. I now saw it as the fuel to a bigger plan. One thing I don't think that gets talked enough about working a 9 to 5 is stability. The stability of a paycheck meant I could go ahead and automate a lot of the process. Bills, investments, savings, can all happen on its own. Now I just have to focus on showing up to my job every day and performing. Now obviously layoffs happen. Life happens, and that can absolutely slow down the wealth building process. But I'll come back to that later, because how you handle risk is actually one of the most important parts of this plan. That's why I don't look at my 9 to 5 as something that's holding me back anymore. I look at it as the engine, the thing that powers everything else. And once I accepted that wealth building actually takes time, it got a bit easier. Stop looking for shortcuts, stop worrying about getting rich quick, stop making emotional decisions when the market was down. Instead, I focused on following the plan. But a plan only works if you can see proof that it's working. And for the first few years, I didn't see much proof at all. One thing I want to make clear is I did not start wealthy. I started from zero. No trust fund, no inheritance, and no large cash gift waiting for me. My parents helped me as much as they could, and I'm extremely thankful for that. But when it came to investing and personal finance, I had to learn a lot of that all on my own. What a Roth IRA was, how to buy index funds, how to actually open up the right account. In 2019, I vividly remember sitting at my dining room table, listening to a personal finance audiobook and opening up my Schwab Roth IRA. At the time, I had no idea how important that decision would become. I just knew I needed to start somewhere. My salary wasn't huge. I wasn't making six figures. I wasn't investing thousands of dollars a month. I was just trying to be consistent. And wealth building is weird. Most of the things in life give you some kind of feedback. In school, it's a report card. In sports, it's scoreboard or your stats. On YouTube, you can see views and subscribers. But wealth building doesn't work that way. You log into your account, you see the number, that's it. And that's why milestones became important for me. The first $5,000, first $10,000, the first $50,000, crossing $100,000 invested, and now getting close to $100,000 in a single account. And the funny thing is, none of these milestones felt life-changing. I didn't wake up different, nothing magically changed, but every milestone reinforced one thing. The plan was working. And eventually something else starts to happen. The growth starts doing more than you do. The easiest way to think about compound growth is a snowball. You start with a tiny snowball at the top of a hill. You roll it down the hill. As it keeps moving, more snow starts to stick to it. The farther it rolls, the bigger it gets. Investing works the same way. Your contributions are the original snowball. Those are the dollars you invest from each paycheck. But over time, your growth starts creating growth. And eventually the snowball becomes so large, most of it wasn't created by you. It was created by momentum. Here's what that actually looks like with real numbers. Take $500 a month, multiply that by 40 years. It's about $240,000 contributed over those 40 years. And the total value, $1.7 million. That's why investing actually gets easier. Not because you're working harder, but because your money starts doing more of the work. The goal isn't to become an investing expert. It's just to give the compound growth enough time to really start working. So the math works. But the math is the easy part, unfortunately. What happens to your lifestyle when you actually start funneling everything into investing? That's where it gets uncomfortable. If my paycheck is the engine, where does the money actually go? For our family, every single dollar has a job. And over time, we build a system that tells exactly every dollar where it needs to go. The first job is protection. If I lost my job tomorrow, what's stopping that from becoming a family emergency? That's the job of our emergency fund. The biggest risk to a 9 to 5 is obviously losing the 9 to 5. An emergency fund gives you time to find another job, time to make decisions, time to avoid turning a setback into a financial disaster. The second job is retirement. For us, that's my 401k. And if your company offers a 401k match, take it. I know I always say that, but it's really one of the easiest ways to get a quick win. The third job is long-term growth. For us, that's Roth IRAs. Some money should be set aside for future you. The fourth job is flexibility. For us, that's a brokerage account. It gives you options. It gives you house savings, early retirement, big future goals, whatever matters to you. Now, this doesn't have to be your exact system. The accounts matter a little bit less than the purpose behind them. And once your foundation is in place, it's really time to start taking advantage of your employer benefit. Most people only think about salary when it comes to compensation, but some of the best wealth building tools came from my employer. 401k matching, additional retirement contributions, employee stock purchase plans, health insurance. When you add those together, it's worth thousands of dollars every year. But if I had to pick one thing that's had the biggest impact on our wealth building journey, it wouldn't be any of these accounts. It would be increasing my income. I started in a billing role. Eventually, I went back to school and earned my master's in business analytics. I changed career paths, and each step helped me increase my income. Now, you can't always control what the market does. You can't control interest rates. You can't control inflation, but you can control your skills. The stock market might return 8-10% in a year, but increasing your income by 20-30% can completely change how you save and build wealth. And once your income grows, there's quietly one thing that can undo all of it. But here's the part nobody talks about. The investing part is easy. The spending part is hard because every one of your financial goals is competing with something you'd rather buy today. Investing only works if there's money left over to invest. And this is where I think a lot of people get stuck. We all want the bigger house, the nice car, the newer TV, the beautiful vacations, the upgrades, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting those things. We want them too. But if we can't afford it, we can't have it. And honestly, I think that's a hard truth that a lot of people don't want to hear because building wealth requires margin. For us, that means renting right now. We'd love to buy a house tomorrow, but buying a house before we're financially ready can slow down progress on all of our other financial goals. It means driving older vehicles. It means not eating out every week. It means not having Amazon packages show up every day. Not because those things are bad, but because every dollar going to those things can't go towards our future. And being a single income household makes these decisions even more important. And what's the one trade-off we haven't talked about yet? What happens if that income disappears? Remember earlier when I mentioned layoffs? This is where that matters. Every financial goal I have today traces back to our income, our retirement, our emergency fund, future house savings, college savings for the kids. None of those things can happen without money coming in first. The goal isn't to prevent bad things from happening. The goal is to keep those things from being financially devastated. And there's another challenge that gets harder as your income increases. Lifestyle creep. Most people think more income solves all your financial problems. That's not true. Sometimes it creates new ones because every raise comes with a new temptation, a bigger house, a bigger car, a more expensive lifestyle. If every single raise gets spent, nothing changes. For us, we've tried to make sure when our income increases, so does our savings. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy your raise. You should definitely enjoy your raise, celebrate it. But a part of every single raise should go towards your future too. Building wealth isn't about making one good decision. It's about making hundreds of those same decisions over a lifetime. One of the things that I've learned over the past 7 years is that people tend to overestimate what can happen in a year and underestimate what can happen in 10 years. Because wealth building is slow, most days feel ordinary. Most months don't feel life-changing. Most milestones don't change your life overnight. But when you zoom out, your progress starts to become obvious. 7 years ago, I was sitting at my dining room table trying to figure out how to open up a Roth IRA. Now I'm getting close to $100,000 in my 401k. And hopefully that's just the beginning. So, can you actually build wealth working in 9 to 5? For our family, the answer has been yes. Not because we're experts, not because we found some secret, but because we've consistently bought assets and allowed compounding to do its work. We're still in the middle of this, still making mistakes, still making trade-offs, and we're still trying to figure out things as we go. If you want to see what our next $100,000 looks like and the trade-offs along the way, hit subscribe.